Hey guys, what's going on? Matt here. I want to take a second this month to highlight VA loans. Maybe you've done them before, maybe you know them well, maybe you don't. Just want to give a quick refresher, 5 points of where I feel are some bonus points and misconceptions on this loan program. So first and foremost, going through why VA. VA loans tend to have the lowest rates. They're very similar to if you're putting 20-25% down on a primary home, gives you those advantageous, better rates. Even if your FICO score is a little bit lower, still gives you those great rates, and there's no money down, no PMI. Fantastic program for those. So that's number one. By all means, it's fantastic. Number two, going through with it, you're going to need a COE. That's the acronym. It stands for Certificate of Eligibility. So anyone that I pre-approve that I'm going with for VA loans, it's one of my pre-approval process touching points, as long as you have your pay stubs, tax returns. And it's going to be to request your COE, which you can do easily. You can get those online. If you're a reservist, you might need what's called a point statement. You can get those too from where you're stationed at. So everyone's a little particular, but overall, I guide my clients that you really need to go online and look to get those first, whether it's your point statement as a reservist or your COE if you're separated from service or if you're active military, to make sure that you are in fact qualified for that. Some people might think they are, but maybe they aren't. So that's number two. Number three, going through is and misconception, this is the biggest one, is, hey, a VA loan, it's nothing out of pocket. I don't have to pay anything to get this loan. I walk into the house with nothing out of pocket. And that's not the case. So you do have a 0% down payment, which is fantastic. You don't require a down payment on the loan. They'll lend you 100% of the value of the property, but you still have your standard customary closing costs for whatever state you're in. Here in Pennsylvania, of course, it's about 5% of your sales price, setting up your escrow account, tax reimbursements, normal closing costs, things like that. Still need an appraisal done. So that comes to about 5% of the sales price. So only way you can really roll this into the VA loan is, of course, asking for like a seller's assist, things like that. So it's a big misconception I get, number one, when I got a lot of people that haven't done a little homework on this, is that you still have your closing costs you need to factor into everything. So number four, going through, a lot of people ask property condition. Of course, you might know this follows very similar to FHA and all of those guidelines and requirements that they have. Attached in the email too is, and again, that realtor reference guide. Make sure you take a look at that too if you have not downloaded that already, saved it to one of your favorites in your drafts. But overall, missing handrails, chipping, peeling paint, broken window panes. It's the same stuff for FHA that they look for on VA. So a lot of my clients that are getting under agreement on VA, some sellers are hesitant on it, is that they're agreeing that they'll pay for any repairs up to a certain amount if that does pop up. We try to scrub that in the beginning when we look at the properties to see what potentially might be flagged by the appraiser, but it follows the same as FHA in terms of what they look for. And lastly, number five, a lot of people ask, can you get a second VA loan if you have one? The answer is actually yes. A lot of people don't know that. You can use what's called your bonus entitlement. It's part of what we do when we pre-approve if there's one now. I had a client that not too long ago was relocating to a different area. They were going to rent out their current house that was a VA loan, and they did have a bonus entitlement to purchase their next property. So they could go VA once again on the new property and utilize those services and have the maximum financing, those lower interest rates, things like that. So by all means, it's very case specific, but it is something to look at, and more times than not, you do have a bonus entitlement available. So something to think about as well. So just kind of high level stuff I want to touch on with the VA programs for this month. Fantastic program. Any questions in specific, please let me know. Reach out. Again, check that realtor reference guide, and have a great rest of your month, guys. I'll talk to you soon.